Elizy, take one. Mark?
Well, I was 17 and I had a group of friends that consisted of 5 girls, and 4 of them turned out to be my cyberbullies. And one of them actually ended up being my boyfriend at the time as well. And I was targeted my sophomore and junior year, and still to this day, I am finding the reason why. Trying to find the reason why.
Still to this day?
Yes.
What do you think the reason why is?
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that competition played a lot into it with the boyfriend I was dating at the time. And so I think that that caused a lot of tension, and I also think that age in high school plays a lot into that as well. But personally, I am still trying to figure out as to why I was personally attacked.
Gotcha. So let's go through a little bit how this happened. Like, how did you first hear about it? Then how did it sort of like escalate?
Okay. Well, I had a 3-pound tumor removed from my liver, and during that time, I was recovering in the hospital, and I was receiving multiple anonymous text messages that were directed at me to end my life and to not come back to the actual school district. So by that time, I was trying to push it aside and continue on with my recovering process until I got a really disrespectful message, and I went ahead and took it to the school board, which then I did not receive any help, so I decided to take it into my own hands and change school districts.
Oh, so you actually left school?
Yes.
Gotcha. So talk about these people when you knew them a little bit prior to this.
Okay.
Like, what was going on as this was happening? You were friends, you were...
Yeah, so we were all friends at one point. I started dating my boyfriend at the time, and they seemed to have an issue with it. I was being told things left and right of what I should do and who he was, who I shouldn't be with, vice versa. It continued with text messages throughout the weeks, stories that I weren't sure were true. Still to this day, I'm not exactly sure. And it started leading up to the point to where I was asking my boyfriend at the time who was sending these messages, what exactly was leading up to this point, why they were attacking me, and come to find out that he was a part of it as well. So I was hanging out with these people, dating this person, and not knowing what was secretly going on behind my back. A little secret ring that I did not know about. And it kind of just escalated from there. And I continued to hang out with them until I fully proved that it was them who did it. So.
And how did you prove that?
Well, I went to a girl who had been bullied by the same people. At that point, we didn't know. She said to the school district, someone is sending me messages from an anonymous number, and I caught wind of that. And once I heard, I went ahead and shared my story as well, and come to find out the same address, IP address, and app was all located to the same group of people. So we just came to the conclusion that this was who was doing it the whole time.
Talk a little bit about how this felt right as it started.
Okay. Well, I felt extremely alone, if I'm being honest. I'm an outgoing and confident person, but that event made me lose my confidence. I felt very scattered. I didn't know who I was. They were my only friends at that time, so the people that I was turning to were people who were against me. My family had a hard time understanding because this had never happened in our family before, and so it got a lot of questioning. So what led up to this point? So during that time, I felt extremely alone, extremely. It was really nice having the genuine support within my family, but even then, it still didn't feel like it was enough. Even having those core people in my life, it's amazing how much a group of people can genuinely make you feel alone. Even when you have the people who are supposed to be there for you, having those people who you know you can trust, it's amazing just what a couple of words and a couple of people can really, really affect you.
Can you talk a little bit about sort of the lowest point, and then after you've kind of gone through that, talk about how you kind of pulled yourself out of it a little bit.
Well, as most people can tell by my appearance and probably my attitude at sometimes, I am one to not take disrespectful comments from people. I stand my ground, but it took this situation to get me to that point. I felt very low when I was getting my tumor removed and being in the hospital. I still didn't understand why that was happening. I didn't understand why my boyfriend didn't show up to visit me. I didn't understand why just my family was there in in an environment where I thought other people were there for me. And so I felt really low at that point because it was a month in a hospital, just, recovering as you should be doing. And it was definitely difficult not being able to move or talk when you were receiving messages that you shouldn't have even made it out of surgery. And that was really hard. That was very hard because at that point I wasn't even sure how the recovering process was going to go. All the things running through my head as a 17-year-old. I then came to find out that not just by accusations and things that I had seen, my boyfriend at the time was unfaithful with these girls who were participating on all of this. And so I'd say that was the lowest point. But I am a singer and songwriter, and so that's what I do. That's what I do to cope. And so I wrote a song, and it's about this situation. And to this date, it is the most listened to song and most played and shared. And that's what got me to realize that there are other people who go through this and know how to get through it. And so, as lame as that may sound, that is what has gotten me to this point, is taking that situation and putting it into my art in my own way, where no one can judge that, and where I'm in control of what I say and what I do and what I write. And of course, my support system as well. It's really helped me to get past it, besides just me writing and saying what I need to.
So the first thing I wanted to ask you was talk a little bit about what it feels like to be different in a small town and why you think you were considered different.
I would say what was on my mind. I would stand up for the kids that were getting bullied. Didn't happen there. That was not a thing. My appearance was different. I sang to anything and everything and everyone. I was happy. I was colorful. I was me, genuinely me.
Is there anything you would want to say to them if you saw them now? Anything you would want to?
Thank you. Thank you for this experience, because it has made me grow into the human, the woman, an artist that I am today. And I wish the same for you and your friends and your families.
Talk about how this affects you when you're making new friends now. Like, how do you trust people? Do you feel like you're scared?
I have a very hard time trusting people, but I don't let that stop me. I'm still very outgoing, and any opportunity that I get to compliment another female, I do, for that specific reason. Both men and women, humans, we need to know our valuable traits, and we need to know our worth. And at times, it does get frustrating. I feel that my heart is a little too full sometimes, and that's okay, because I can make up for the absence for those that don't have that. So it can often be difficult, but most of the time this has inspired me to make more friends in a different way, in a kinder and gentler way.
Talk a little bit about girl-on-girl bullying and what you think about that in the world.
I wish it could be changed. I wish it could be improved. Women need to empower each other. We need each other in the world that we're in. And when we don't have other women to back us up, you know, what really do we have in the sense of comfort and protection of our own gender? And I hope that someday women can be on the same page and learn to not hate each other for each other's differences, to be envious for competition. Everyone is trying to make it in their own way, and everyone needs a boost, no matter what they have over you or what they don't have. We're all here doing our best to try to be successful and loved and valued.
How does this affect your dating life? Are you dating? Walk us through sort of like your Elizy's dating world.
I love Bumble. I love the Bumble app. I do. I try not to let it affect that. My past relationship is a past relationship for a reason. And I try my best not to bring that in. My insecurities are my problem and not my boyfriend's problem. And same for him. I want to be back in the environment where even when I feel unsafe and insecure, that I can get through that myself and not have to rely on someone for that happiness or anything like that. And sometimes it is difficult, just like making friends, but I know a real guy is gonna come along and he's gonna love me for this and this, and however long that takes. I'm in no hurry, because I'll write a song about you anyways, so either way.